So our cop is very encouraged with all of these moves, and Acting Chief Edwards has our full support. So now I'll just open up to any questions that people have.
Go ahead.
I'd like to ask, I'm fairly new back in Richmond, and so I know that we've had a lot of reporting about morale and concerns. I wonder if you could give us a little bit of texture about kind of where the rubber's hitting the road with this. Is it how you guys are deployed? Is it shifts? What's the issue that kind of, or what are the issues that kind of drive those feelings?
Yeah, and staffing is probably the biggest concern. We're down approximately 150 police officers. So you can only do so much. You know, we want to resort back to community policing and getting involved, you know, with our business owners and our faith leaders, but, you know, we can only do so much with just the lack of staff that we have. So that is a huge factor.
One thing I sort of wonder about too, I don't routinely cover the police beat, but so I hear community policing a lot, and I've heard it in different cities. I sort of wonder, from where you stand, as a detective and representing police officers, what does that mean for what you guys do or don't do, kind of day in and day out? What have you been kept kind of from doing that's part of what the morale issue is about?
Right. Yeah, I'll just be clear that I can't speak as Detective Brennan Lake for the Richmond Police Department, but I can speak for President for our cop. It's getting involved in the community, really boots on the ground, knocking on doors, talking to business owners and employees, going to the stores, just speaking with the community. Our faith leaders are so important as well. With the schools and really with kids, I think we're really trying to get more involved with them as well. It takes a lot of effort from a lot of different groups.
And it sounds as if whatever sort of preliminary say howdy kind of conversations you've had with the acting chief, who I assume you guys know anyway.
Yes.
You're getting a signal that he wants to do what he can to get you guys and gals doing that kind of stuff, even with short staffing?
Yes, he said he would love to partner with our cop moving forward collectively. So we have not gone over in any details yet, but when we actually sit down in person next week, there'll be a lot talked about.
Can you speak a little bit about how the chief handled the Dogwood Dell matter from your perspective?
I'm not going to speculate on that. I never ever read the investigative summary, so I've just seen what's been on the news with everybody else, and I just know that all the FOIA requests and stuff have slowly come out. So I won't speak on that today.
I don't know if you were able to hear the mayor's comments yesterday kind of about how things went down, but also who does hiring or firing of a police chief at the end of the day. Outside of that, I don't give comments on that, but bigger picture, do you guys hope to be at the table with discussion for who may become the permanent police chief down the road, and what do you hope that process looks like?
We would like to be involved in the search committee, but it is still very early on in the process. So we're just taking it day by day, but we do have a line of communication open with the city administration, so still very early on.
All right, so if Chief Edwards is to impress you, what changes what kind of visionary changes? I mean, what would you envision a manager doing that would make improvements? You got pay raises now. Overtime is what it is. The streets are what they are. So what could the manager do that was better? Just have a better relationship with you, or is there something else that wasn't happening that you hope will happen?
Yeah, I think effectively communicating, just not only with us, but with the entire police department and the community. Not just speaking with us and communicating well, but listening. Not just hearing, because maybe the past chief, he heard us, but he wouldn't listen to us. So Acting Chief Edwards has already said he's going to go around to the precincts and do town hall meetings, and I'm very confident he's actually going to listen to not only us, but the entire rank and file.
Without disclosing the survey information, what was the disappointment? They had to work too much? I'm trying to figure out what it is that the management wasn't doing that you want them to do. I mean, you basically come in, check in for you at your major crimes, your what?
Robbery? Just property crimes.
Or property
crimes.
Okay, so you got a stack of reports when you come in, you go through them. What would the change in management do for you or do for patrol officers? Officer Scott flies in a plane. I mean, how would management, I know you're in a regional unit, but how would a management change make any difference to you? I mean, what difference is there by having one person or another person sitting in the, with the chief on his door? What is it you actually want to see? You said communications, but is there anything else that wasn't going on that you want to see going on?
I think there was just a disconnect with the previous regime, and with having acting Chief Edwards, he came up through the ranks. He knows how the police department operates. He's been a patrol officer in this city, and so he's been a detective in the city, and a detective sergeant, and a lieutenant in major crimes. He knows how the city operates, and so he knows the ins and outs. So I think there was just a disconnect with the previous chief.
I don't know the union rules or not, but is the acting chief, or was he ever a member of RCOP or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Since the chief left, what's the morale been like for the, I mean, you heard from your fellow officers what the morale, has it boosted the morale right away?
Morale's already improved. I don't have a table to measure it, but I received hugs and high fives and texts and phone calls that how ecstatic RCOP members are with the change.
And what do you have to say to the community that, they're on edge, that, a lot of fluctuation down there. How can you reassure the community they're going to be okay?
Yeah, RCOP's very optimistic for the future. Nothing's going to change overnight. It's going to take a huge effort, and it is a long road ahead. But I think we really are going in the right direction now.
I mean, basically you're saying you wanted to be able, rank and file wanted to be able to talk to the chief and have him, her talk back in a way that indicated that if there were complaints or concerns that they were being addressed, that you weren't getting that, basically.
That's right. Yeah, RCOP was basically not even on speaking terms with the last chief, and now within hours of RCOP reaching out to Acting Chief Edwards, that he responded.
So the open door policy that was advertised previously was more of an advertisement than a reality.
I won't comment on that.
I'm going to ask an obnoxious question, which I hope you'll bear with me, but I think Richmond has had a bit of a history for quite a while of fairly short-lived chiefs and some kind of rumbling rank and file. Here's the obnoxious part. Is the problem the chief, or is the problem maybe down rank and file?
I think that just kind of depends.
It isn't.
Who asked the question and how you want to interpret it. I don't think it's RCOP.
I mean, it's not a question of just a police force that, I suppose, the less obnoxious way would be to say it's just been kind of beat up for a while and it's tired of it? Or?
It just depends, the era that we are in, with staffing shortages and what's going on throughout the country too. There's so many things you can put your finger on.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Final question I have, I know it's hypothetical, but if he does a good job and you guys are happy with what you see, would you push for him to become the permanent chief because of his knowledge of this area and his connection to the department and not just being an outsider being popped in?
Well, we just want to have an open mind. We just want to have a seat at the table, with the city administration. So we're just going to keep an open mind. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.